rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we'll start tonight with an update from Emma Williams, our Lewiston Youth Advisory Council President.
All right. Our 5-part Let's Get Down to Business Shine on Lewiston film interviews were posted on the city's YouTube channel, on Facebook, and on Twitter. They received very positive responses, and to remind you, we interviewed reps from newer expanding businesses, Aero Air Park, Rink Advertising, Sophia Fema, Quiet City Books, and Bull Moose. To continue our Shine on Lewiston current theme, we have brainstormed an idea from Carolyn Adams, an LEAC member, to get positive news about Lewiston. We have prepared an online forum where residents or visitors can share positive things about Lewiston. We have named their outreach City Positivity, Shine on Lewiston. A press release went out last Friday, and we have already started getting responses. Thank you, Councilor Lewiston, for your response. We believe this opportunity will enhance Lewiston's sense of community, and especially if residents use their voice to support the community. To reach the forum, people can go to lewistonmaine.gov/positivity. We will review the submissions and spread good things about Lewiston through social media and hopefully through the press. Some of the submissions ideas are experience a pay it forward moment, thank a local worker, what's possible in Lewiston, proud parent grandparent moment, and others. We have invited a reporter, Andrew Rice from the Sun Journal, who's going to be at the next meeting, October 23rd. And to talk about getting more positive articles about Lewiston in the news, and to perhaps have a special column to let people know what a great city we have. Are there any questions? Right. Thank you.
Thank you, Emma. Very good. Okay, so now I will entertain a motion for the acceptance of the minutes, July 10th, August 14th, and October 2nd of this year.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor? Councilor Marcotte?
I was waiting for the city clerk to mention a note of change.
Nope.
Oh, yes, Councilor Marcotte called today, and we made a change to the October 2nd minutes regarding a vote on the off-street parking item. We double-checked the video, and the vote was 6-1, so we made that correction. Yep.
As amended, if everyone's all set, good, 7-0. Public comment period. Any member of the public for items not on tonight's agenda?
Charles Arthur Soul, 135 Bartlett Street, Lewiston, Maine. I must be getting old, forgetting my address. You are. Age 65. By that I do remember. I was happy that I understand that early voting has commenced in the city. And how long is that going to be running for?
It runs until Thursday, November 1st by state law.
November 1st is the completion date. This was the first time I almost voted a straight ticket Republican. However, I voted for Luke Jensen and Angus King, which, there used to be in my father's day, what you could vote a straight line ticket by indication of one box, just checking one box. And this year I noticed you have to do all of the individual nominees. I also voted for Eric Sampson, and that's all I want to say. Thank you. So that's November 1st is the completion date of early voting in the city of Lewiston. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else for public comment? Okay, roll call.
All roll call votes for this meeting will begin with the Councilor of Ward 4.
Consent agenda.
Consent agenda. There are 5 items on the consent agenda this evening. Item number 1, annual appointment for the Lewiston Auburn Railroad Company Board of Directors. Number 2, order authorizing execution of a municipal quitclaim deed for real estate located at 1153 Sabata Street. Item 3, amendment to the traffic schedule regarding loading zones on Holland Street. Number 4, amendment to the traffic schedule to create an additional parking space on Bartlett Street. And number 5, recommendations from the City Clerk Registrar of Voters on actions necessary to conduct the state election to be held on Tuesday, November 6, 2018.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Lyson, seconded by Councilor Cloutier. Discussion on the consent agenda. Oh, Councilor Ray.
I just had one question on the item number 5.
Sure.
Item number 5, thank you. Are we still tracking how many folks come in during, like, the early voting and that night?
I'm sorry, I don't understand the question. How many people are voting during absentee voting, early
Yes.
voting? Yes, we have to by law. It's all recorded in the state database.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Councilor Marcotte?
On agenda item number 4.
Mike? Again. Mike
Agenda
and
item
Mike.
number 4. Whereabouts is this parking spot?
It's at the corner of Bartlett and Ash.
Which corner?
It's on Bartlett Street as you approach Ash, I believe on the right-hand side,
I think so, I think it's
As
fine.
you're traveling towards Main Street?
as you're traveling toward Main Street.
Toward the church, up the hill toward the church, right?
Before the Ash Street intersection with
before
the
Ash.
church.
Yes,
So in front of the couple of tenements there on the corner of Ash and Bartlett, where the new bump out was rearranged
Yes.
to dip down as opposed to up.
correct. I believe that's correct.
Okay.
The public? Council? Call the roll.
Counselor from Ward 4?
Yes.
Ward 5?
Yes.
Ward 6?
Yes.
Ward 7?
Yes.
Ward 1?
Yes.
Ward 2?
Yes.
Ward 3?
Yes.
Motion passed by a vote of 7-0.
Agenda item number 6.
Item number 6, public hearing on the renewal application for a special amusement permit for live entertainment for Pedro O'Hara's of Lewiston, 134 Main Street. Requested action to grant a special amusement permit for live entertainment to Pedro O'Hara's of Lewiston, 134 Main Street.
So move.
Oh, second.
Motion by Councilor LaJoy, seconded by Councilor Ray. Questions from the council? Public? Back to the council. Call the roll.
Counselor from Ward 4?
Yes.
Ward 5?
Yes.
Ward 6?
Yes.
Ward 7?
Yes.
Ward 1?
Yes.
Ward 2?
Yes.
Ward 3?
Yes.
Motion passed by a vote of 7-0.
Agenda item number 7.
Item number 7, public hearing on the renewal application for a special amusement permit for live entertainment for the Midtown Athletic Club, 45 Walnut Street. Requested action to grant a special amusement permit for live entertainment to the Midtown Athletic Club, 45 Walnut Street.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Cloutier, seconded by Councilor Beam. Council. To the public. Back to the council. And call the roll.
Counselor from Ward 4?
Yes.
Ward 5?
Yes.
Ward 6?
Yes.
Ward 7?
Yes.
Ward 1?
Yes.
Ward 2?
Yes.
Ward 3?
Yes.
Motion passed by a vote of 7-0.
Agenda item number 8.
Item number 8, public hearing and final passage regarding amendments to the General Assistance Ordinance regarding prohibiting rental and utility payments under certain circumstances when properties are placated, condemned, unlicensed, or known to be in violation of municipal ordinances. Requested action that the proposed amendments to the City Code of Ordinances, Chapter 46, General Assistance regarding prohibiting rental and utility payments under certain circumstances when properties are placarded, condemned, unlicensed, or known to be in violation of municipal ordinances receive final passage by a roll call vote.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilor License, seconded by Councilor Ray. Councilor Cloutier.
So, we talked about this at the LA Public Health Committee meeting on last Thursday, and Dennis was there. And I thought that he had emailed you about some of the language in here when we're talking about life-threatening and non-life-threatening,
He did, that's correct.
just in terms of lead poisoning and where addressing lead issues falls into those two things, because,
Well, again, as a reminder, the city does not regulate or enforce lead issues.
right,
So we do not have currently we do not have the authority to prohibit occupancy of a building if there's lead.
but my understanding is that we are asking our code enforcement folks to recognize those problems when they're in housing, and to report them to the state CDC. And so I guess we just have concerns about how this language sort of doesn't address what actually is a life-threatening
No, that's correct, and what it does indicate is that it would, as determined by the Director of Planning and Code. So there is a designated official who would make those determinations.
So I guess I just would like to hear from that official that he is willing to make those determinations.
We can see you back there.
I know, I should have sat in the other
Came
room.
just in time, Dave.
Yeah, well, I guess a way to answer that potentially is, what we're trying to do is make this clear for GA through Energov. So you guys have all heard about Energov and how we try to make this transparent with other departments and whatnot. And this is actually a screenshot of the page that we're going to use that we worked with GA and MIS. And I'll just go down through the list of things that we would check off that potentially puts it into that life-threatening mode. I'm sure you'll have questions, but it includes electrical infestation, leaking roof, ceiling pipes, egress issues, condemnation, lack of heat, lack of power, faulty wiring, lack of water, inoperable toilet, raw sewage, mold, chipping paint, structural zoning, licensing, and fire. So some of those are pretty broad, right? But that's a flag that we would use when in Energov.
So chipping paint is in there. That's
Chipping paint is in there, but that
Great.
might not be enough. So that'll get flagged under social services hold list. GA would see that, and then they would make a determination, and they may call us up and say, well, what is the chipping paint? Because it's chipping paint every time isn't necessarily
right.
a life safety issue. I mean, not to diminish what, the leg concerns, but it isn't no different than, electrical. Electrical could be pretty significant, and we don't want anybody in there, or GA doesn't want to give them a voucher for that, or electrical could be missing a cover on a receptacle or something like that. So there's some broadness within that, but it's enough of a flag to at least have GA come to us and start asking some questions.
So that would lead to follow-up on your parts, the chipping paint.
The intent here is GA would look in
Flag.
Energov, see if it's in there. They would make a call as to whether or not they're going to make a decision on their own, or if they're going to contact code for more information.
Okay.
Councilor LaJoy?
Would the fire department be involved in that as far as a life safety?
Yeah, they're not using Energov to the same extent that planning and code is,
That's correct.
but what involvement they have in it, if there's a notice of violation that fire is issued in there, ideally it would be in this program as well.
Okay, all right. That would clear it up, so.
Just scratching my head.
Okay, that's fine. All right, the public?
Mr. Mayor, councilors, I am Sue Sharon, resident of Lewiston and retired social services director. It's very strange speaking as a resident. But Councilor Cloutier, I can talk to the lead issues after this if you want me to do that. And I'm not sure if Wendy is aware of them or not, but anyway. I'm going to just read my notes just so that I can be brief and accurate. At the September 4th council meeting, landlord Jay Allen spoke passionately about how wrong it was for the city to advocate for housing safety issues while not inspecting general assistance units. He said it was incredibly wrong and hypocritical. At the October 2nd council meeting, City Administrator Ed Barrett presented the proposals regarding the inspections of units paid for by general assistance, and he also presented the proposed amendments to the general assistance ordinance. On October 3rd, it was reported in the Sun Journal that the city will begin regular inspections of apartments rented to general assistance clients. It was reported the move comes after repeated concerns from a downtown landlord led officials to review the policy. Though many agree with Mr. Allen's statements, and his advocacy is to be applauded and hopefully will continue, it was not Mr. Allen's concerns that prompted the proposals to inspect general assistance units. Current Social Services Deputy Director Elaine Brackett and I have been working diligently on these proposals for quite some time. More recently, I drafted the ordinance amendments. I was hoping to bring these to fruition before I retired, but other work-related issues rose to the forefront. Elaine promised that she would continue with the process, and she has certainly done just that. On my last day of work, I sent Ed a lengthy email. I can see him rolling his eyes now, detailing the work that has already been put in place and the meetings that we had with Peter Parker from MIS to upgrade Energov, and with Dave Hediger and Ben Westman from Code to meet the needs of the Social Services Department as it relates to the code issues. I could go on and on about the details, but I'm trying to be brief, and I'm sure that Ed or Elaine will share the email if anyone's interested in the details. As Ed stated at the October 2nd council meeting, the proposed language to add utilities to the ordinance was the result of a court case that we worked diligently on and prevailed. In addition to this new language, I drafted additional language for the ordinance regarding non-life-threatening violations, 30-day grace periods, and extensions. I also drafted letters that would be sent to the landlords in the event of non-life-threatening and life-threatening violations, detailing the process for withholding rental vouchers if necessary. Rental vouchers are approximately 85% of the general assistance budget, and as such, it is imperative that inspections and relevant ordinance amendments are implemented. With Elaine's experience, the continued collaboration of city staff, the commitment of the current director, and the backing of the council, I am confident the policies and ordinance amendments will ensure that landlords are held accountable, yet given a fair process, and that general assistance tenants are residing in safe housing. Thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
One quick comment. I've neglected early in this process to have pointed out how much Elaine and Sue worked on this, because what she said is absolutely correct, that was in process even before Jay came and spoke to the council. I think Jay coming and speaking to the council initiated some pressure from the council to move it along more quickly. But I think Sue and Elaine did an awful lot of work, along with some folks in code enforcement, to set the groundwork for doing this. And I will also point out that that Dave Hediger, as the new director up there, has been supportive of this approach to a greater extent than had been present in the past.
I think it's just important that the public knows that city staff is diligent, and they have been working on this long before people have been advocating for it. But the advocacy from outside people are important as well.
Yes.
If you would like me to talk about the lead issues?
Sure.
So there's a spreadsheet that's shared from Economic and Code, Economic Development. Travis actually does it. And so we go on to the S drive and we look at all of the lead-abated apartments. And if there's an apartment that we see that has, is lead-abated, we do not allow new tenants to move into those apartments. By law.
You mean if it has a lead abatement?
Order, yes.
Right.
By law, existing tenants can stay there, but we can't move any new tenants in. So there is that spreadsheet, and I'm not sure if Wendy knows about that or not, but so general assistance is not putting people into lead-abated apartments.
So can I just, so I just want to make sure that as we move forward, as the council representative to the health committee, that as we move forward, that when it's flagged as chipping paint, if it's not on that list, that we're making sure that we're working with code to understanding that not all chipping paint is a lead hazard, but making sure that we're investigating that to make sure that it is not a lead hazard.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Wendy McDougall. I'm the current Director of Social Services, and I just wanted to say quickly that no matter what the violation is that is flagged, we contact code.
Great.
And we talk with them, and there is the code enforcement officer that was assigned to the original case. We see the date of the last inspection, what the violation is, and if it's not clear to us exactly what that means, we call code, and we do that every time that there is anything that is flagged. And we're pretty diligent. I mean, some of them, code has said that it's, it's not a life-threatening, but we've decided to deny the voucher based on the pictures or the background or something like that. So, yes.
Great,
That's what
thank
I
you.
wanted to share.
Councilor Lyson?
Yeah, I wanted to thank both, staff and volunteers that you're continuing, Sue, I don't know, as a citizen, but coming out to talk about this issue, and I think it's, things take time to generate, and I know I've raised this issue a long time ago as well myself, so glad to see it's coming to fruition, and that the proposed amendment, I think, will help protect the health, welfare, and safety of the community, and appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. Call the roll.
Counselor from Ward 4?
Yes.
Word 5?
Yes.
Word 6?
Yes.
Word 7?
Yes.
Word 1?
Yes.
Word 2?
Yes.
Word 3?
Yes.
Motion passed by a vote of 7-0.
Item number 9.
Item number 9, public hearing and final passage for land use code amendments concerning off-street parking for single-family attached or multifamily dwellings. Requested action that the proposed amendments to Appendix A, Article 12, Performance Standards, Section 17, Parking of the City Zoning and Land Use Code concerning single-family attached or multifamily dwellings receive final passage by a roll call vote.
So moved.
Second?
Motion by Councilor Cloutier, seconded by Councilor Pettingill. Questions from the council? Councilor Bean?
So the code was just amended for just the two, the single-family attached and the multifamily dwellings.
Correct.
Short answer, yes. Okay.
Yes,
Yes.
that's right. There were no other changes.
No, you folks talked about whether or not we should include like non-residential buildings in, you know, the greater downtown area, but in order to move this along, because that's probably a little more of a discussion for another time, and the planning board agreed, so we will be revisiting that at another date.
Because I saw there were other areas where things were crossed out. Are those?
Yeah, so in other sections of the ordinance, the other change we made was with respect to off-street parking in a municipal facility. It used to be 500 feet, and now it's a quarter mile or 1,320 feet.
So there were a couple of other.
Right, so the
So-
change with respect to the ratios was limited to single-family attached and multifamily. And then if you have any type of use within 1,320 feet of a municipal parking facility, you would be able to take advantage of that versus having to actually create that parking on site. It's currently 500 feet.
Thank you.
Councilor Marcotte?
A couple of weeks ago, a little bit beyond that probably, I went to the planning board meeting where this was discussed. I had asked staff for which districts it's impacted. I got a copy of a map at the last meeting during the first reading. I don't think the rest of the city council did. The rest of the city council should have. It includes quite a few different zones in the city. Kind of wraps, begins in downtown Lewiston, kind of wraps around the two corridors, Main Street and Lisbon Street. I did vote against this the last time during the first reading. I'll be voting against it again tonight for the very same reason, that when I look at the language, and at first I thought this had to do with a particular parcel in Lewiston, and it was going to be part of a contract zone, but evidently I'm learning that it's not a contract zone. This is going to impact all of those two categories that Councilor Beam talked about throughout Lewiston. It's not the entire geography of Lewiston, but it's a significant landmass. And I think even if after the vote, the rest of the council should get a copy of that map.
Councilor Ray?
What is the appropriate deciding body? Board of Appeals was removed.
Yeah, so depending, right now, could be the Board of Appeals, there's a staff review committee, and there's the planning board. Staff review committee approves projects that are less than 5,000 square feet in area. Planning board approves anything larger than that.
Okay.
So versus having a board that has nothing to do with the development review process grant approval for parking, we thought it made sense, hey, if you're going to the staff review committee already, why go to the Board of Appeals? Have the staff review do it. If you're going to the planning board, why have the Board of Appeals do it? Have the staff review committee do it. So
Okay.
we're somewhat streamlining the process, and at the same time, we thought it would made it more relevant to have that board that's already reviewing it for everything else site-related. Why shouldn't they be reviewing it for parking purposes as well?
Okay. Does this language allow you flexibility if that's not a possibility?
I'm not sure if what's not a possibility.
So if planning can't also review this, so you're just eliminating the Board of Appeals? is what-
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Correct.
Just another way to ask it.
There you go. The public. And back to the council. Call the roll.
Counselor from Ward 4?
Yes.
Ward 5?
Yes.
Ward 6?
Yes.
Ward 7?
No.
Ward 1?
Yes.
Ward 2?
Yes.
Ward 3?
Yes.
Motion passed by a vote of 6 to 1.
Item number 10.
Item number 10, order authorizing the city administrator to execute an agreement with Bradford and Conant LLC for public infrastructure modifications to support the redevelopment of 197 Lisbon Street.
So moved.
Requested action to approve the order authorizing the city administrator to execute an agreement with Bradford and Condon LLC for public infrastructure modifications to support the redevelopment of 197 Lisbon Street.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Counselor Marcotte, seconded by Counselor Cloutier. Questions from the council? Public? Back to the council. Call the roll.
Counsel from Ward 4?
Yes.
Ward 5?
Yes.
Ward 6?
Yes.
Ward 7?
Yes.
Ward 1?
Yes.
Ward 2?
Yes.
Ward 3?
Yes.
Motion passed by a vote of 7 to 0.
All right, reports and updates. Counselor Ray.
Please. For the school committee, this upcoming Thursday, October 18th, there are going to be 2 public forums on standards-based learning at the Lewiston Middle School Auditorium. The first will be taking place from 3 to 5 p.m., and the second from 6 to 8 p.m. An update on our superintendent search. We have now started to send out invitations to focus groups of different community partners. If you are not invited to one of those, then there is also an opportunity to be heard at a forum at the Green Ladle on October 22nd at 7 p.m. And this is a great chance for input. If you are unable to make it to that, we will also be opening up a survey, and that will be hopefully activated on the same date for additional community input, and that is being translated into 6 languages.
Excellent. And do you have your motion ready, Link?
I do.
Okay, so I need a motion to suspend the rules.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Counselor Lyson, seconded by Counselor Cloutier. All in favor? Jolene, Mike?
Goodbye.
Aye.
To do what?
Suspend the rules.
What is it we're talking about?
Portland Pie. Extending the lease. 7-0. There we go. All right, and the motion.
Is that for me? And Kathy, I don't normally read these. Should I read the entire thing, or?
We'll let Kathy do it. She's
Would you
used
like the entire thing read?
Whatever we have to read. No more, no less.
Right. So motion to approve the resolve approving an extension to the agreement with LWS Development for the purchase and sale of real estate at 188 Lincoln Street.
So moved.
Second.
Go ahead.
Motion by Counselor Ray, seconded by Counselor LaJoy. Comments from the council. Wendy. Back to the council. Call the roll.
Counselor from Ward 4?
Yes.
Ward 5?
Yes.
Ward 6?
Yes.
Ward 7?
No.
Ward 1?
Yes.
Ward 2?
Yes.
Ward 3?
Yes.
Motion passed by a vote of 6 to 1.
Excellent. I think the other business was talking about our workshop next week.
Yes, I think you're all aware, we were talking about having a workshop next Tuesday, at which we would have a representative from Healthy Androscoggin, or, no, the Public Health Committee, and the group, Catherine Ryder, and the group that's working on the opiate issue. Since then, I've heard that the mayor will not be available next Tuesday, nor will the council president. And I don't know if anybody else has a conflict next Tuesday. So I have reached out, but have not yet heard from those 2 individuals whether they would be available on the 30th. We had held the 30th as a potential date for a special council meeting. So I'll keep, my thinking right now is to look to move that, if at all possible, to the 30th, so that as many councilors as are available, or as many elected officials as possible, could be there. If that's not possible, then we might move it either to the 12th, or potentially we could go ahead next week, but I'd rather have everybody here for that than.
By the 12th, you mean the 13th?
Pardon me?
By the 12th, you mean the 13th?
Yes, the 13th, excuse me. 6 plus 7 is 13.
We're looking at the calendar, you're not.
Every time, yeah.
I was never very good at my addition tables.
Councilor Marcotte?
Is there another meeting that we had scheduled out some sort of workshop.
With the
We
district
had
attorney
talked about
meeting?
holding the 30th as a date in case we needed a special meeting, since it's going to be, we're not going to have another meeting till the 20th of November.
Didn't he agree to that? No?
Yes, you had agreed to hold that date.
We did.
No, the district attorney, is that what you're referring
Yeah.
to?
Yeah, the district attorney is set for a different date.
Thursday, the 8th.
Thursday,
So
the,
there's
yeah,
no meeting on the 23rd then?
November 29th, Alicia says.
November 29th.
Oh, okay, so that's November 29th. Okay.
Correct.
So there's no meeting on the 23rd?
We don't know yet.
We don't know for sure yet, because I don't know for sure if the parties that were going to come are available for the 30th or not.
Okay.
If they are available for the 30th, my thinking is to go ahead and schedule that night. We also need at some point to come back to everyone's favorite topic, marijuana. So that was
See?
another issue that we could bring up on that evening. And there are a couple of other smaller pending issues that need to be addressed at some point. There's the issue of political signs that Councilor Marcotte has had some concerns about, and the issue of weed ordinance that some other councilors have been concerned about. So I have a list of things that we can...
No, weeds.
What kind of weed?
Actual weeds.
Natural weeds, as opposed to...
Things have really gone downhill up here.
Okay, time to wrap it up.
And it isn't even that late, you know?
Oh.
So anyway, my kind of thinking at this point is we won't meet on the 23rd. We will likely meet on the 30th for at least some of those issues, and we can fill in on the 13th, anything we don't pick up on the 30th.
Phew. Got it.
Please, somebody motion to it.
Motion to adjourn, you mean?
No.
Councilor Marcotte.
Could we get an update on the county budget?
Process.
Anyone who is in a position to do so.
So, I mean, it's at the stage where it's,
It's at the public hearing for November 1st.
yep.
There has been a reduction since it came from the county commission to us. The number escapes me currently, but
Yeah, I don't have my folder. in
we
front
could
of me.
email that to the council.
Yeah, I was wondering if we were still over 5%.
Yes. I would guess so.
We're pretty close to 5%.
Yeah.
Either a little under or a little over. We did not, there weren't significant, like,
The
there were
whole department's
five-figure
cut.
cuts to the budget, not six-figure cuts to the budget.
Six figure.
I said not six-figure cuts.
Yeah, no.
Six. Okay.
We can send that to the whole council for your thoughts. And then also you can come to the November 1st public hearing and give us your thoughts. We would love to hear that.
Such riveting meetings the county has. Anyone else? Councilor Lyson, I believe you had a motion.
Yeah, the Red Sox are up 3-2. Oh, excuse me. Yes,
Great
have a motion
night.
to adjourn, please.
Second.
All in favor? Outstanding.
So